Hey everyone, it's Shar from Shar's Fashion Nation. I told you I would be starting to iron 200 individual squares of quilting fabric, and that's what we're doing today. The reason that you don't see the sewing machine sitting up here is because I can't stand for hours because of missing pieces of my spine. So that makes it so I can't do that. So the sewing machine is under the desk right now. Thank goodness, even though it's a Singer heavy duty, it's light to pick up. And unless you can't pick a couple of pounds up, that's about it. Honestly, that is a light sewing machine. So I've got the iron over here. I just have to plug it in. That's all I got to do. And then it's iron 200 square. I'm not going to show you the whole entire 200 squares being ironed. It might be a little ASMR. But anyway, that's what we're doing today. And then I will get to work on making an apron with this and a backing. Well, with some of these in a backing. And the rest of them are going for a quilt, which will be sent down to down south as a baby gift. Yes. One of my friend's granddaughters is expecting, so quilt. So anyway, let me get this camera turned around and we'll get right to it. Okay, so I did have a bunch of just the polka dots organized. Then I picked all this fabric up and sat it over here, and I was like, screw it. Just by luck, some of these fabric squares just happen to be together. I don't know why this is like a cord always gets stuck. The cord always gets stuck between the desk and the table. And I don't want that. So this is set on cotton. All these squares are cotton. And I put this many on here because I figured, okay, well, even though I could do these individually, what might make it quicker or seem quicker, that shouldn't melt, is maybe just do a few at a time. I'm not going to put all this on here. And that's a stain on here, by the way. So we'll just move these. Even though it's a cool idea, that's just not what's actually going to happen. So I need to literally like see if I can remove this stain off of here, because by chance I would not want that to get on anything else, you know? Just by chance. So it's nice to be able to bring sewing video this week. I know I keep having someone say the same person in the wrong videos asking about sewing, when I've said before, you gotta wait for it, because I do have other things to do, just like anybody else. You know how like you have stuff to do during the week, then other people may assume that you don't because you're physically disabled? Well, physically disabled people have stuff to do during the week too. Like doctor's appointments, trying to control your pain, making sure that you're okay just for yourself. There's a lot of things that physically disabled people have to do in order to maintain your health and well-being, just like anybody else would. Just because I'm physically disabled doesn't mean that I'm just going to sit around and cry about it. Why? Because that would be wasting life if I just sat around and cried about it. You know? Like, I'm in pain every day, but whatever. Ooh, look how nice. That square came in nice. Now, I did wash these in my Temu washer that I got from Temu. Otherwise, you guys know it is Temu. And I got these squares from Temu. So, the ironing board is from Amazon, not Temu. If you didn't see that, I believe that was 2 years ago. Now, I wish I had known that Joy would have had a store on Amazon back then. I would have bought this ironing board through her. Oh, the irons they got on there, right? Freaking expensive. Not everybody can afford that. I mean, like, I can order other things through Joy, like sewing pattern, which I've done that before. I will leave her YouTube channel linked down below. You know what? I haven't checked to see if her and her husband have moved back to their original house first. Anyway, so I'm going to iron, I'm going to say probably down to almost the bottom, because we've been ironing for almost 5 minutes. Ironing for almost 5 minutes. So, and we only have like a little stack. So like I said, this is going to take a while. This is exactly 200 squares. 200 squares of quilting fabric. Quilting squares. Now, mind you, this is a good quality cotton. It does wrinkle, as you can see. I have thought about getting the big roll of fat quarter squares, but y'all, that stuff is like, I couldn't afford that if I wanted to. Not even from Wally World. Like, oh, it's crazy. Like, I would like to take some quilting squares and make some regalia out of that sometime. I got an ear that's clogged. So to me, my sound for myself sounds kind of funny today. So, yeah, quilting squares. So, and my thought on doing a regalia out of the fat quarters is kind of like, how can I even say this? Almost making it look like a Pendleton blanket. Which I actually grew up in that town. That town sucks. That town sucks. It's got a lot of history to it. But that town literally sucks. They used to have this place called the Curio Shop. I don't know if it's still there. I used to like that place, although the upstairs of it, like if you're a kid and you go in the curio shop and you look up, you don't want to see that inflatable doll. All I'm going to say, you do not want to see an inflatable doll that has nothing on. Now you know what I'm talking about. Like, they had cool stuff on the first floor, like jewelry and stuff from the reservation. The mission res, that is. For like When my boys went to Head Start, there was a couple of the Head Start teachers were from the Mission Res, and they were pretty cool. I liked them. I'm like, wait, don't I know you from? And I'm like, not just the reservation. They're like, oh, hey. I got along with some of the white people. I basically got along with mostly like the black kids, the Asian kids, which there were very few of those, and the kids off the reservation. So anyway, I'm going to get this iron down to a point, and then we will be back. Okay, so far I've got a lot of that iron. My hand, I've got arthritis. I don't let that bother me either. So what I do with some of these is I lay them face down, and then we'll press, because some of the edges that curl a different way, you can press them flatter. Yes, you can. Press them flatter. Iron it on one side, then the other. Now these ones, I'm going to put these in the floral. They're some sort of nature thing. But yo, this takes a little while and a lot of patience. It really does. This takes a lot of patience and a lot of stop here and there because of your hand and handling the handle of the iron for like that long. I've been wanting to save up for one of those presses, like the shirt press or whatever. I've been thinking about saving up for one of those, even if it's a smaller one, which would help me with things like this. I really and seriously think it would help me with things like this because of the arthritis. As you can see, like I'm just sitting here ironing away. But at the same time, in a moment, I have to stretch my hand. And I've been having to crack my knuckles or see if I can crack my knuckles so that I can get a little relief on my hand. So I'm gonna get this down to probably like the last two, and then we'll be back with that. But that's a lot. Oh, we are down to our last two pieces. Isn't that fabulous? It's fabulous for my hand. Oh my gosh. And my shoulder. Oh goodness. If you've ever had to sit, I think I've been sitting here for like, oh my gosh, 3 hours now ironing and watching stuff on Amazon Prime. Like historical castles of the the Knights Templar. The only Templar that they actually forgot to tell about is the Crow Knight Templar, which is the Navy to the Templar Knight and the Hospitaller. Yeah, they did forget them. And if you didn't know, the Crow Knight Templar actually did make their way to New Jersey. There's that one. This is the very last one. Thank goodness. I just take the little threads off because I know that's going to be in the way and annoying. There we go. Those come off easy. Those were just like that because the threads on the ends of these Like, you can sew the edges of your fabric if you don't want it to shrink too much when it's washing. But I was not about to sit there and sew the edges of 200 squares. No, not. So there is that. Now I can just easily take these little threads off of each one of these that I did not do that on right before. Oh my gosh. Hold on. So that's it for today's video. Stay tuned for what I will be doing with all this. I gotta like de-thread these now on the end. So basically, you know, floral with floral. There's more floral and polka dots than there are star. Look at that little thin amount compared to that. Stripes, gingham, and there were only 2 of this one, which is kind of an interesting thing. So anyway, if you want to stay tuned for what I will be doing with all these squares, that's coming up this week. Some sewing with Shars coming up. So meanwhile, stay happy, stay healthy, stay positive, and as always, stay blessed. My hand freaking hurts for 3 hours of ironing. If you've ever sat 3 hours or stood 3 hours just to iron stuff, bless you for the pain. Anyway, I'll see you in the next one. Now it's just time to edit. And one last thing. It's time to put her back. Because that's what we need next.